Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, I want to do an update video on my Harima. I haven't done a video on my Harima in maybe a year and a half. My build has changed quite a bit, so I want to show you guys a quick showcase on my build that I feel is probably the best build for Harima in this current format, at least for myself, for my account. So let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so we're going to hop into Harima here. She is from the Shadowkin faction, a defense-based damage dealing champion. So she deals damage. Make sure that you guys know that she deals damage, because it is probably not the correct thing to build her in a support build. She is a great damage dealer, defense based, super tanky as well. Let's jump into her kit real quick here. I see these 4 guys hanging in the background, very spooky there. Wow, I never noticed that actually, but there it is. A1, 50% chance to decrease attack. Also has a chance to apply this to everybody, which is actually a pretty cool ability. Her A1 smacks super hard as well, so really strong A1. A2, triple hit, 30% damage from books, 3 turn cooldown here. It decreases the target's defense by 5%, and it stacks up to 30%. So if you use this twice, you would have maxed it out, but it increases the Harima's defense by 100% as well, basically doubling it, which actually is really insane. And of course, if you kill somebody, you're going to activate her Celestial Awe, which is her AoE ability right here. This dragon ability, super cool. 3 turn cooldown, 20% damage from books. It's an AoE provoke, and it has some demon spawn action here where they cannot block or resist it. And you don't weak hit against demon spawn either. Based on her passive, you don't weak hit against demon spawns, and you you land on weak hits. You cannot, sorry, these champions, the demon spawns cannot hit Harima with any kind of serious damage as well. But the biggest thing from her passive is that she ignore defense effects by 50%. So basically this makes Savage gear, lethal gear, merciless gear half as effective when she is on the field. She needs to be alive for this effect to happen, of course. Finally, her passive here, 80% aura in arena battles only. Not particularly insane or anything, but a decent usable aura. High value resist there. Her AoE is not particularly insanely high multipliers. I believe it's a 3.9x multiplier. For an AoE, it's not insanely good, but keep in mind that her single target does ramp up her power quite a bit, and she gets a free AoE when her single target kills an enemy. Harima is insanely good against Rhodos in arena. The triple hit cuts through Rhodos' passive, and of course she has strong affinity against Rhodos, and her passive really cuts down on Rhodos' overall damage, especially his A3. She's generally just a really good champion in arena. She's actually a really good champion everywhere, and I'm going to show you guys a build that kind of works for me in all content. Her HP is not particularly high, but that's not unusual for a damage-based damage dealer. Her defense is very good, so it's a good scaling stat for her to deal more damage. So obviously pump up her defense if you want her to deal more damage. She has the extra crit damage here from being an attacker, a damage dealing champion. And then extra resistance here, kind of whatever. Total bookage, you got 11 books in total, not too shabby. So let's jump into her kit here real quick that I got built out for her. Let's see here. So here we go. I got a 5-star blessing on my Harima. I am eventually going to go get a 6-star maybe sometime in 2026 when I get enough resources, but that's how long it takes to get these stupid big resources to get the big blessings on her. I got her in a 6-piece merciless set, which is probably the best build for her for all content. I think if you can fit her in on a lethal stone skin set, that's even better for arena, but I think merciless is going to be the set that you want and the build that you want for her to deal insane damage in Hydra. So going over her gear here real quick, I'm just showing you some of the pieces here. So we got obviously speed, crit rate, crit damage, speed, crit rate, crit damage. Perfect helm here, very nice. 5-star helm, unfortunately, but perfect stats. Perfect stats on the shield. Basically a perfect shield here. We got this glove here, pretty good glove. Ascended crit damage with speed and crit rate. No defense percentage, would have been nice. Great shield here. Great chest here. Unfortunately, attack percentage, but overall still pretty good. Boot here, very decent as well. Missing crit damage, but otherwise still not too bad. Ring here, got some defense. Got some defense here as well. And then a triple speed defense banner 5 speed. But obviously not like perfect everywhere gear, but pretty good gear for Merciless set, which is obviously, you know, limited farming from Centranos and all that stuff. I think overall, I'm happy with the 6-piece Merciless set here. If I could, I would probably jam in maybe like a crit damage set or a impulse set for some additional cooldown reduction. So Merciless gives you 35% ignore defense on the 6-piece bonus, which is great for any kind of damage dealer to ignore defense. And it gives you a 30% chance to have the skill reduced by 1 turn, which means you get your AoEs back, your big damage dealing skills back 1 turn earlier, which means you deal more damage overall. Total stats here with the Harima here. So 54k HP. I like her a little bit tanky for arena. Just under 7k defense. Not insane stats. Not insane stats. We're looking like when you're talking like, you know, mega stats, we're talking like 9k defense. Harima is like +4 with faction guardians and everything, and big bonuses, everything added on. You're talking like 9k defense stats. 228 speed, a little bit slow, but still serviceable. Big crit damage here. It's easier to get from the Merciless set. A little bit of accuracy to land with, if you ever get plus accuracy on her, for example, it's easy to land her provoke. Or if you're doing low difficulty of Hydra, it's easy to land your provoke as well. These are my Hydra bonuses here. I got some ignore damage. It's got some extra accuracy to land stuff. Got some extra speed here as well. So going through the masteries here, we're going to take Helm Smasher down at the bottom here. It is kind of like a mix between Arena and Hydra masteries. But main thing is you take Helm Smasher here for some additional ignore damage. Everything else is kind of for Arena. Lastly, for the Blessing choice, I did take Heaven Cast. Usually with the Blessing, depending where you want to go, you could take Polymorph. You could take Polymorph for protection in Arena. You could take, I mean, you could even take Brimstone in some cases if you really need her to deal like some damage against bosses. But honestly, it's going to be Polymorph, Crushing Rend on 6 stars for Harima. And then since she doesn't really land too many debuffs, you could take Nature's Wrath because she does land, you know, a couple debuffs, her attack, you know, decrease attack, and her provoke. It can ramp this up relatively quickly, so taking Nature's Wrath up until 6 stars is probably okay. And then what did I end up taking? I ended up taking Heaven Cast just because she is in a team with lots of buffs. Lots of buffs and stuff, so to increase her damage overall. But because she doesn't land too many debuffs, it might be worthwhile not to take Nature's Wrath instead. But that's kind of debatable. It's hard to test exactly that. But I think maybe Nature's Wrath would perform maybe a bit better than Heaven Cast for Harima and Hydra. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any concrete evidence about Heaven Cast versus Nature's Wrath for Harima specifically. I think since she does land a couple debuffs, maybe Nature's Wrath would be better in this case. So the thing with Harima to make her really shine is that she needs increased defense. She doesn't have increased defense in her kit. So giving her increased defense will really make her do a lot more damage. The other thing about Harima is that she might not one-shot most teams, especially tanky teams, but she does scale up. So she takes a little bit of time to increase her damage, and then she will do a lot of damage later on. Similar to Rotos, but Rotos does bring like a little bit more inevitability. Harima is not so much that, but she does gain a little bit of power over time. So definitely bring increased defense if you guys want to use her. I'm going to show you guys a couple of Hydra teams here that I have completed with Harima to show her overall power. Giving her increased defense here from Podrick, she did 231 million damage, just slightly under Varl. Varl does deal insane amounts of damage himself. He's also in a Merciless set, so very comparable gear and stats. But Harima is very, very good at holding her own. I have another team here. And this is where Harima really shines with somebody like Lady Mikage, where Lady Mikage's A1 can bring in a Shadowkin champion to attack with her. Look at her damage compared now, dealing a huge amount of damage here against Nightmare difficulty. So yeah, Harima definitely is no slouch, definitely in the conversation of one of the best Shadowkins that you can pair up with Lady Mikage as well. Other champions, obviously Mishinake and Ninja, also dealing insane amounts of damage, also bringing other forms of utility as well compared to Harima. But Harima's incredibly good in the arena, whereas Mishinaki and Ninja are not as good. So personally, I use Harima against obviously Rotos. You can use her against other magic damage dealers as well. She's incredibly good. She doesn't really have like super direct counters. Obviously you can use, before in the past people were using champions like Turvold that deals like real true damage or more damage, not relying on ignore defense damage against Harima. That's one way to deal with her. But she's just a really good champion and brings her really strong passive that deals with most trouble champions, especially from the Demon Spawn faction. She basically like nullifies champions like Duchess, Hethrak, just destroys Hethrak. Candrafon, she basically deleted Candrafon off the face of the earth with this passive. Mortus, if you see Mortus in arena, she just deletes them. Really strong spirit nukers can maybe deal with Harima, similar to like Ragash can maybe deal with her. You have other champions like the mythical Garo here. Garo can kind of deal with Harima a little bit just because he hits so hard, or she hits so hard. But yeah, Harima is just generally a tough champion to deal with overall. Great champion to invest in. If you guys picked her up in this upcoming 10x, good luck. I mean, congratulations. And, you know, obviously that is really good luck because, you know, obviously 10x on a ancient non-void event is going to be a really long shot for Harima, but she's an incredible champion, great for PvE, PvP. Personally, I feel like I said 6-piece Merciless is the best for her. If not, you can go with Savage or Lethal gear. If not, basically just give her the best damage gear you got, and she'll do a ton of work for you guys. Hopefully this video was entertaining and informative, and hopefully yeah, you guys picked up Harima yourself this weekend. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think is the best place for Harima, what you guys have built for her. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions for myself as well for my Harima build. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.